46. Each one has been explained with examples, so you will understand. Svyabhichara, another name given is anaikantika. And this anaikantika is of three types. Sadharana, asadharana, and anupasamhari. A common understanding of this anaikantika type of hetu, bad ground, is that this hetu will exist in a locus where there will be no sadhya. So, let me define it. Sadhya abhavavad. Vritti. I think that definition might have been given here also. Is given, na? Yes. So, vritti means existing. Existing in a locus which has got absence. So, abhavavat, the locus of abhava, existing in the locus of abhava of sadhya. So, bring it here. So, a hetu which exists in the locus of abhava of sadhya what is the characteristics of a sadhetu we have seen so far? That it is invariably related to sadhya. That means wherever there is hetu, there is sadhya. That is the characteristics. That is why it has a relationship, no? Invariable relationship. So, it shares the locus where the sadhya exists. But if a hetu is, you have chosen a hetu which will exist in a locus where there is no sadhya, then can that hetu prove what you want to prove? No. So, a common characteristics of a bad ground is like this, of this variety, that it exists in a locus where there is no sadhya. So how can that hetu prove the sadhya? Hence this hetu is a bad hetu. Take an example. Now you say Parvataha this ground, this inference you are making now. You are saying that the mountain has got smoke. You are looking at Vanni, let us say. Huh? So now let us, what is Paksha here? Parvata Paksha. What is the sadhya? Dhuma is the sadhya. And what is the hetu? Vanni is the hetu. Okay. So this method also you can make a practice day. You convert into a diagram. It will be easier for you to remember. So Parvata Vanni so Vanni is visible. So Vanni is there. Okay. And you want to establish Dhuma. So what is sadhya? Dhuma is sadhya. And what ground have you given? Vanni. Now whether this Vanni ground is a sadhetu or not, let us test. So apply Anvaya. Let us see what kind of hetu is this. Yatra yatra Vanni Dhumaha. Is it possible? Yatra yatra Vanni tatra tatra Dhumaha. Vyatireka, try. So you can see from Dhuma to Vanni there was no problem. But from Vanni to Dhuma there is a problem. So you know Sanskrit and you know that hetu is to be expressed in Panchami Vibhakti. So you prepared a Anumana. You said, okay, Parvataha Dhuma. Wow. Why unnecessarily always from Dhuma to Vanni? I will infer Dhuma from Vanni. I can give you. So we have to put into Anvaya Vyapti and Vyatireka Vyapti. What is the ground? What is the hetu? You had to state. You said he is going to become Prime Minister. So you establish that, no? So make it sadhya. And then you give some hetu. Because he belongs to so and so family. Yeah. So you'll say, wherever a person is born in that family, there will be prime ministership. So, being born in the family, and prime ministership. There should be Anvaya Vyapti. And where there is no prime ministership, there should be no general. So, any example you can take. So, the concept I am making concept clear. Asad Hetu here is the Asad Hetu of the type of Anaikantika is, it's a common concept actually, that you have chosen a Hetu which can exist in a locus where Sadhya itself does not exist. So suppose there is a red hot iron ball, red, in the furnace as you do, red one. Vanni is there, but Dhuma is not there. So it exists in that tapta ayo ayapinda, tapta ayo golaka in Sanskrit. Vanni exists, Dhuma does not exist. So yatra yatra vanni, tatra tatra dhuma. Also, where there is no dhuma, there is no vanni. You see, also not true. There is no dhuma, there is no vanni, is also true. So it exists. So asad hetu, therefore it cannot be sad hetu. It doesn't have vyapti. Our criteria, yardstick is that is a sad hetu which has got vyapti, which is vyapya. There is no vyapti here. So it is asad hetu. So the common notion is sadhya abhavavat vritti. So a bad reason exists in a locus, and in that locus there exists absence of sadhya. Svyabhichara anaikantika. So Svyabhichara is called anaikantika. So we cannot decide. You cannot decide. You cannot come to the conclusion that there is smoke on the mountain. Sa trividha, that is of three kinds: sadharana, asadharana, and anupasamhari. And each one is being exemplified. Tatra sadhya bhavavad vritti. Now you know the meaning of it. A hetu which exists in a locus where sadhya does not exist. Such a hetu should be called sadharana anaikantika. First variety of anaikantika. Yatha parvataha banniman prameyatvat. Now you see, I told you this. Another example you take. Parvataha Vanniman is okay. Up to this is okay. But what is the ground he gives? Prameyatvat. Prameyatvat. Prameyatvavatvat. So what is paksha? Parvata. What is the hetu? Prameyatva. Prameyatvatva means prameyatva. And sadhya, vanni. Apply. Yatra yatra hetuhu tatra tatra sadhyam. You have to show. Hetu is what? Tva. So yatra yatra prameyatvam tatra tatra banhi. So prameyatva, let us say, is in hrada or not? Hrada is prameya, is a reality. So there is prameyatva. Is there banni? So what is there? Abhava, banni abhava. Abhava, banni. This is there. So the hetu exists along with the abhava of sadhya. Hetu is prameyatva. Hetu is prameyatva. And it exists in hrada. And there banni abhava exists. And banni is the sadhya. So sadhya abhava exists in hrada and there pramitve. How can this prove banni? So it's a sadharana anaikantika dushta hetu, bad ground. Nobody can prove with this the sadhya, because there is no vyapti possible. Are you getting me? So यथा पर्वतो वह्निवान् प्रमेयत्वात् इति प्रमेयत्वस्य वह्नि अभाववति हृदय विद्यमानत्वात्. Where वह्नि अभाव exists, where in hृदय, and there prameyatva exists. So it exists in the place where sadhya bhava exists. So sadhya bhava locus has become the locus of hetu. Such a hetu cannot be called sadhetu. It's a bad ground. It cannot prove existence of sadhya. Niyata sahachara should be there, no? Niyata sahachara, together. So hetu should be with sadhya, then only can hetu prove sadhya. So we should satisfy anvaya vyapti? No. Okay. Somebody uses another inference. You see, particularly it happens in the courts, that you have received money, you are a lawyer, from your client you have received money. So whether it is a genuine case or not, you will have to win, because you have accepted money, no? So by hook or crook, you will show that your hetu is sadhetu, and therefore either the other will point out that it is a asadhetu. If you are using, what is the purpose? Purpose is to win, jaya. In a debate also, if your aim is to win and not to arrive at the truth, then you can adopt any means, no? You are free then. In debate also it can happen. So debate tournament, let us say. So you can adopt. So it should appear as if you are giving ground. But in analysis it will be found that it is not a good ground. In the form it looks like a ground. We say that it is. So somebody says, Shabdaha. Next example is Shabdaha Nityaha Shabdatvat. Shabdaha Nityaha Shabdatvat. Now tell me, what is Paksha? Shabda. What is the Hetu? Shabdatva. Shabdatva vatvat. Okay? Shabdatva. Shabdatva is hetu. And what is the sadhya? Hmm? Correct. This kind of vigilance I want. So, this is to be converted into Shabdaha Nityatvavan. Parvataha Vannivan. So, first you have to convert this in that form. Later on, you are not required to do it physically. Automatically it will come to you. Once you are habituated, then automatically it will come to you. But initially you should do this practice. So, Shabdaha Nityaha to be Shabdaha Nityatvavan. Now, Sadhya is very clear. What is Sadhya? Nityatva is Sadhya. So, Nityatva. Now, this case he has taken up. So, somebody wants to establish the Shabda is Nitya. Shabda is permanent. And the ground that he is giving is Nitya. Shabdatva. Because it is Shabda, it is Nitya. Shabda is Nitya because it has Shabdatva. That someone is telling. What kind of fault he has found is asadharana. What is asadharana? Sapaksha, vipaksha, vyavrittaha asadharana. Now, tell me, okay, let me, same practice let us do. Apply, Anvaya Vyapti. Yatra yatra shabdatvam, tatra tatra nityatvam. Example. So shabdatva, shabda is there. It is paksha. So nityatva, where nityatva is there? In Akasha, in this, in Atma, Nityatva is there. But is Shabdatva there? Carefully note, then you will be able to compare also. So it is Nityatva, the Sapaksha, Sadhya is known for certain where. Example is there or not? There is. There is, example is known to you of Sapaksha. What is Sapaksha? Where the Sadhya is definitely known. So Nityatva is known where? In Akasha, in Kala, in Atma, in Manas. All Nitya. In all Nitya Dravya, Nityatva is there. So Nityatva is Sadhya. So Nishchita Sadhyavan Sapaksha. So Nishchita Sadhya is Nityatva. It is definitely known that it exists in Akasha, Kala, Deg, Atma, Manas. So Udaharana is there. But what about the Hetu? So Sadhya is there, but it itself is not present. So it is excluded from Sapaksha. Gone. We had developed some criteria, no? that it should be existing in sapaksha, it should be existing in paksha, it should not exist in apaksha, vipaksha. So, shabdatva in paksha it is there, okay. But in sapaksha, whenever word is asked, no, that notion should appear before you. What is sapaksha? I think today is the first day for knowing these terms, perhaps. So the samskara is not dridha today. So nityatva is definitely known where? Akasha, Kala, Dik, etc. Correct? Does Shabdatva remain, exist there? Shabdatva exists there or not? No! Shabdatva will be only in Shabda, no? Ghatatva will be where? Shabdatva will be in Ghata? Oh. So Shabdatva will be in Akasha, in Kala, in Desh, in Atma. Atmatva will be there, Diktva will be there, Kalatva will be there, Akashatva will be there, but Shabdatva will not be there. So it is in Paksha. Very good. Does it exist in Sapaksha? Okay. Another condition is that it should not be in Vipaksha. So Vipaksha is what? Where definitely you know that sadhya does not exist. It exists only in Shabda, no? Where can it exist? Can it exist in Ghata? So, Sarva, Sapaksha, Vipaksha, Vyavritta. This hetu is excluded from Sapaksha, excluded from Vipaksha, and Paksha, they only exist in Paksha. So, is there Vyapti? So, bad hetu or good hetu? Bad hetu. So, we should classify this as a asadharana hetvabhasa. Bad. Yatha shabdo nityah. No, that is not that is not the case. We are not talking about that. Yatha shabdo nityah shabdat. So, sarva sapaksha vipaksha vyavritta is excluded. It does not exist. It does not exist in sapaksha, it does not exist in vipaksha, and hence it is asadharana, variety of hetvavasa, yatha shabdaha nityah shabdatvat iti. He himself explains, shabdatvam sarvebhyaha nityebhyaha. Nitya is all akasha, kala, dika. It does not exist. Anityebhyaha ghatapatadi anitya. They are also shabdatva does not exist. So anitya is vipaksha. Nitya is sapaksha. So in sapaksha also it does not exist. In vipaksha also it does not exist. Vyavrittam shabda matra vritti. Only. Here matra means only. Only shabdatva exists in shabda. And therefore this cannot be called a good ground. So on the basis of shabdatva, you cannot claim that shabda is nitya. The third variety is inconclusive. Anupasamhari, inconclusive. Anvaya vyatireka drishtanta rahito anupasamhari. Now take another case. सर्वम अनित्यम प्रमेयत्वात्. सर्वम अनित्यम प्रमेयत्वात्. Buddhist will say. Sarvam, sorry. Sarvam anityam prameyatvat. Everything is non-permanent because it is known. It can be object of knowledge. Now, what is paksha? Sarvam. So sarva is paksha. What is hetu? Prameyatva is hetu. What is sadhya? Huh? Anityatva. Is not so? Anybody has doubt? You rewrite sarvam anityatva vat. Because neuter, sarvam is neuter, so anityatva vat. Sarvam anityatva vat. So, what is the sadhya? Sorry, tva. Sarvam anityatva vat. So this is sadhya. So you want to prove that everything is non-eternal. Who will prove this? Buddhists will do that. No eternal, no, nothing is permanent. Sarvam kshanikam, sarvam dukkham. So sarvam kshanikam, anitya. But proof, if he proves in this way, how will he do? So prameyatva is there in everything, fine. Now anityatva is to be, so apply. An example, sir. An example you give. Atma is not included in sarva. Udaharana. So, your paksha, you have chosen such a paksha which includes everything. So, nothing you have kept for example. That is what he is saying. So, here you cannot conclude no conclusion can be drawn. So, अन्वय व्यतिरेक दृष्टांत रहितः. So, अन्वय व्याप्ति example you don't have. Okay, व्यतिरेक you try. यत्र यत्र अनित्यत्वम नास्ति. Example. Paksha should not be example, huh? So you have said all, you say. You have nothing left, nothing you have left. So it doesn't have Anvaya Vyapti example also is not there. Vyatireka Vyapti example also is not there. So inconclusive. Anupasamhari. I cannot conclude. Inconclusive ground. Judges right, no? Judges right, such give judgment that we cannot come to any conclusion. Inconclusive ground. Your entire syllabus of education should be changed. And this intellectual tradition, the contribution of the intellectual tradition of your country should be incorporated in your syllabus. When this is going to happen, sir? After a few years, this man will not be here. When I am going to see? Whole life I am shouting. Nobody is listening to me. What else are you teaching, you tell me? If not this. As I told you that somehow in International Law School in Pune, they invite me to teach that. So few of them are getting, and since it is International Institute, the students from other countries taking advantage of that. What about our own children? So what to do? So let us read. Yatha sarvam anityam prameyatvat. Atra, here, sarvasyapi pakshatvat. The whole universe has been included as paksha. Drishtanto nasti. There is no example. So Anvaya Vyapti also example is not, Vyatireka Vyapti example is not. So how judge will conclude? How is he going to give judgment? He cannot give judgment. Inconclusive. Atra sarvasyapi pakshatva drishtanto nasti. Now you tell me now, what is the difference between asadharana and anupsamhari? There also Shabda existed only in Shabda. Shabdatva is the Hetu. Shabdatva was the Hetu and it was present only in Shabda. And here also the Hetu is Prameyatva, which exists in Sarva, Shabdat. But outside that Paksha, the Hetu did not have any scope. Example, where was the example? Example was there or not, that I want to know. Sapaksha, Vipaksha, Udaharana you had. Akasha, Kala, Dik, Nityatva, where Nityatva Adhara examples were there. But here nothing can be provided as an example. That is the difference between Asadharana and Anupsamhari. In earlier case, Nitya, Anitya, Vastu are there. So Nishchita Sadhyavan, here you can't have anything. Sapaksha, Udaharana give me, Sapaksha. Vipaksha Udaharana you give me, cannot give. So no Sapaksha Udaharana is possible, no Vipaksha Udaharana is possible. But there Sapaksha, Vipaksha Udaharana is possible. Because Sapaksha, what is Sapaksha? Nishchita Sadhyavan Sapaksha. Where you definitely know Sadhya exists. So what was Sadhya? Nityatva. So Nityatva Adhikarana you know. Examples. Akasha, Kala, Atma, etc. Anityatva Adhikarana also you know. Ghatapata, etc. You know they are all for Karya. But here, nothing is. In this way, minutely you have to read and see the distinction. This is how they have been analyzed. So, Svyabhichara, the first variety of Hetvabhasa, we have completed. remaining. Om Sahana Anau Naktu Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So we are discussing asadhetu. The first, so there are 5. So you have seen that while doing sadhetu, we saw that hetu and sadhya are together, samana adhikarana. Samana adhikarana. This is how we have observed them in number of cases. So therefore there is a relationship between hetu and sadhya, a regular relationship, and that relationship we call vyapti. So hetu has vyapti. This is samana adhikaranya. Sahachara niyama. Niyata sahachara. Always together. And so this hetu is a sadhetu. This is what we have done in sadhetu, case of sadhetu. So such a hetu will, if I know this hetu, then I will know this sadhya. In asad hetu, the first variety is Svyabhichara. We discussed yesterday. So this is sadhetu. When you do sandhi, then becomes sadhetu. Svyabhichara. Now, so there is sahachara and there is bhevichara. So names are also very significant. Sahachara together and niyamena sahachara, regular together, and bhevichara not always together. So A and B together, but sometimes A and absence of B together. So, sometimes the picture is like this. So, A and B together, Hetu and Sadhya together, and sometimes there is Hetu along with absence of Sadhya. So, how can you know B on the basis of A? I am trying to make your understanding more clear. When you say asad hetu, means bad ground. Why do you say it is a bad ground? Because the knowledge of this will not lead me to the knowledge of this. Why sadhetu is a sadhetu? Because the knowledge of A will take me to knowledge of B. Knowledge of hetu will take me to knowledge of sadhya. So, A is a good ground. But if it is so, and why it is a good ground? Because A and B are together. Invariably together. So the knowledge of A will give me the knowledge of B. But if it is so that A and B in some cases together, but in some cases there is A and there is absence of B. So A and absence of B are together. A and B are not together. So sadhya is B. Sadhya bhava is absence of B. So if hetu is residing along with sadhya bhava, are you not getting? So how can the knowledge of A will take you to the knowledge of B? That is why this A is a bad ground. It's clear? So, there is sahachara and there is Svyabhichara, you see. Sahachara, the together, and Svyabhichara, not together. So this hetu becomes Svyabhichari. Two friends together. But sometimes with somebody else. So how can you know B on the basis of A? Husband and wife together, but sometimes not. So, Svyabhichara. Getting me the idea? So, there is sahachara niyama in the case of sadhetu. Yatra yatra hetu tatra tatra sadhyam. But in the case of asadhetu, I cannot say like that. Maybe in some cases, maybe together. But what I need? Niyama, sahachara, niyama, regularly together, invariably together. So sometimes together and sometimes without be. So sometimes with absence of be, that is what it means. Sometimes with be, sometimes with sadhya, and sometimes with sadhya bhava. So, 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 so you are, suppose you are saying parvataha, dhumavan, banne, or banne matvat. So, what is the paksha here? Parvata, sadhya, hetu, banne. This is also, instead of, if it is, banne is the pratipadika, so panchami vibhakti. So panchami vibhakti gives ground. So one name is banne matvat. Banne matvat. So you have seen that, so hetu is banne and sadhya is dhuma. So they are together. Say in Mahanasa. Correct? And some other cases also, they may be together. So one or two cases they are together. But Vanhi is in Tapta, Ayo, Golaka. But there is Dhuma Bhava there. So Vanhi is there. Tapta Ayo Golaka means heated iron ball, red. Ayogolaka is iron ball, tapta. So red, hot iron ball. In that, Vanni is there, but Dhuma is not there. So what is there? Dhuma Bhava is there. So Vanni is residing with Dhuma Bhava. And Dhuma is your sadhya, no? So it is coexisting with sadhya Bhava. So sometimes with sadhya, sometimes with sadhya Bhava. So there is no sahachara niyama. Therefore there is Svyabhichara. So because it exists with sadhya and also with sadhya bhava, we have given a name sadharana. Now, Svyabhichara is of three kinds. Yesterday we saw. So sometimes with sadhya and sometimes also with sadhya bhava. Therefore, this Vanni hetu, this ground of Vanni to infer Dhuma is a faulty ground, is a fallacious ground, is not a good ground, is a bad ground. Asad hetu. Is okay? in the text, so Parvataha, okay, Vanniman. But the ground that you give a Prameyatva. So, Prameyatva is Hetu, Sadhya is Vanni, Parvata is Paksha. So, on the basis of Prameyatva, you want to establish Vanni on the mountain. So, Yatra Yatra Prameyatvam, Tatra Tatra Vanni. So, you may find together in some cases. For example, Mahanasa. In Mahanasa, what is there? Hetu is there. What is the Hetu? Prameyatva. And Vanni also is there. Okay. So, few cases you will get like this. But take Radha. Radha has Prameyatva or not? So, Hetu is there. Is Vanni there? So, what is there? Vanni Abhava is there. Now, for your practicing, I am giving you some more elaboration. You see. So, in some cases, Hetu and Sadhya together. But in some cases, there is a Hetu along with absence of Sadhya. So, there is no Sahachara Niyama. There is no Niyata Sahachara. As I told you, even a single exception will not work, will not allow the Vyapti. Hetu will become Vyabhichari. So, Svyabhichara therefore is Vyabhichari Hetu. That is, there is no Niyata Sahachara. It exists where Sadhya does not exist also. So, in some cases it exists along with Sadhya, it also exists in a where Sadhya does not exist. So, Sadharana. More clear? In this way, again and again, as many times as you listen, something more will be added to your samskara. And when you will have this DVD with you, again and again you read, watch, study. So your samskara will become Didha, Didha Tada, Didha Tama, and you will be able to apply this knowledge in your own field of interest. Whenever, let us say scientists for example, you collect data through observation and then later on you draw conclusion, no? Is not the drawing conclusion the process of inference? When you collect data and then draw a conclusion, drawing a conclusion is what process? So who does not need it? And you may go wrong in conclusion if you do not identify Sadhetu. And what is the process of identifying Sadhetu? That we are telling you. That Sadhetu will be such a Hetu which will be invariably together along with the sadhya. So what you want to conclude and claim, and the ground on which you want to claim, so the ground and the claim must be invariably together. If it is not, your conclusion will go wrong. So any human activity, right from getting up from the bed till you go to bed, all the day you are involved in direct knowledge and indirect. Perception, inference. In perception also you commit mistakes. In observation also you commit mistakes, isn't it so? So you make a test. If my eyes are not proper, if I have a cataract, for example, my visual perception will go wrong. If the object which I see is at a very far distance, even if my eyes are good, my observation will go wrong. So the distance also is a factor. Indriya is a factor. So all these factors given together, your perception can be correct. But you may also commit mistakes. From a distance you say something is glittering. Exactly. So you do not know when to stop, when to go. Signal you will not be able to read. So we are not telling anything which is not our anubhava vishaya. Therefore, from very beginning I am telling you, it is the analysis of our anubhava. Nyaya Shastra is analysis of anubhava. And anubhava is available before me for analysis in what form? Language, sentence. So sentence is an encoded thought. Analyzing sentence means analyzing anubhava. As simple as this. So there is a need to make this methodology available to one and all, irrespective of the domain of knowledge. So, Svyabhichara is asadhetu. First category of asadhetu is Svyabhichara. It is of three kinds: sadharana, asadharana, and anupasamhari. Now, so sadharana, why it is called sadharana, now it is clear to you? That sometimes they are together and sometimes also the hetu is along with the absence of sadhya. So here also with sadhya also he is there. With sadhya bhava also it is there. But what it should be ideally? Only with sadhya. So Svyabhichara. Every term is significant. But that way we have to read, that way we have to learn. Unfortunately, neither in the traditional system nor in the modern system, these things are being taught in this way. But tradition itself has created all this now. This is not the modern people who have created this. So what happened to the tradition? Now they are telling to learn by heart. Is it a shastra to be learned by heart? Is it a mantra? Japa? This is a shastra to understand and apply that knowledge. This is applied science. So neither there, and when there is no water in the cooper, how can there be water in the vessel? When the tradition itself is not doing this job, how do you expect the modern institutions to do this job? So, my friends, we have a lot to do. And one jha is not going to do this. Cannot do this. So you all will have to become jha. And keep on doing. Take it to every home. Teach your children. Do you think that this is not understandable by children? If you give me one example, there will be 10 examples. We are searching one example. They will give you immediately 10 examples. So why should they not be taught this? Is my question. So, Svyabhichara is of three varieties. One is a sadharana. Sadharana means a hetu is such that it is sometimes with sadhya, sometimes without sadhya. So sometimes with sadhya, sometimes with sadhya bhava, abhava of sadhya. So sadharana. Asadharana. Now example. What was the example of sadharana? Shabdaha nityaha and hetu shabdatva. Now, you see the peculiar thing. So, shabdaha nityaha shabdatva, what is the paksha? This way, again and again, you have to practice. So, Shabda is Paksha. Hetu has been said, Shabdatva. It exists, of course, it exists in Shabda. And what is the claim? Nityatva is to be established. What is the problem here? So, we need examples. Now, what are the criteria that we had discussed yesterday? That a hetu should be in paksha, should not be in vipaksha, and should also be in sapaksha. Then hetu will be sadhetu. In paksha it is there, fine. So tell me what will be sapaksha? Why? So, what is the idea of sapaksha? where you definitely know that a sadhya exists. What is sadhya? Where does nityatva exist definitely? In nitya, all nitya. Okay? Does Shabdatva exist there? Akasha. So Shabdatva does not exist. Nitya. You might be thinking that Shabda is produced in Akasha. Then why not Shabdatva should exist in Akasha? Any one of you is thinking like that? I said you think. Yeah. No, that is not the answer. Answer is that, what is the hetu? Can Shabdatva exist anywhere other than Shabda? Getting? Shabda exists in Akasha. But Shabdatva does not exist in Akasha. One moment in this way, will go. Nachiketas was told, huh? You remember, no? Which kind of buddhi is required? That pointed attention is necessary. So, hetu is Shabdatva does not exist in Sapaksha. That was the test. That if it has to be Sadhetu, it should exist in Sapaksha. So, you have udaharana, you have an example of Sapaksha. But hetu does not exist there. So that first taste itself failed. Vipaksha, okay, tell me Vipaksha. All anitya, correct. So anything, ghata, pata, whatever is produced is anitya. So what is produced? Ghata is produced, pata is produced, phala is produced, pushpa is produced, whatever is produced. Does Shabdatva exist there? So it's a good thing. You should say, sir, you said no. Test, what is the test? That it should not exist in Vipaksha. It doesn't exist, so it should celebrate. Yes, we will celebrate. But do we want only that? It should not exist in Vipaksha. Agreed. It also exists in Paksha. So in Paksha it exists, Vipaksha it does not exist, but Sapaksha it does not exist. No. What should I do? These three conditions have to be fulfilled or not? So actually asadharana is peculiar. So he says Sapaksha, Vipaksha, Vyavritta. Shabdatva does not exist in Sapaksha, does not exist in Vipaksha, exists only in Paksha. Pakshamatra vritti. Sapaksha, it doesn't exist, is a good thing, is a guna. It's not a dosha. But it needs also that it should not, it should exist in sapaksha. But it does not exist. So all the three conditions are not fulfilled. One is not fulfilled. So actually, if you want to define it, it should be defined as only sapaksha avrittitvam, asadharana. So asadharana should be sapaksha avritti. Vipaksha avritti is quite welcome. So it does not exist in sapaksha. This dharma will be the definition. Asadharana dharma. So, comfortable? Asadharana. So it does not exist in sapaksha, it does not exist in vipaksha, exists only in paksha. Such a hetu cannot be called sadhetu. So it's asadharana Svyabhichara. Svyabhichara is also given a name, anaikantika. No? So I cannot decide one way. Ekantika means ek koti paryavasana. So sometimes it exists with sadhya, sometimes it does not exist with sadhya. So sometimes it exists with sadhya bhava also. So should I conclude that there is sadhya bhava? Or should I conclude there is sadhya? If it is the case that sometimes hetu exists with sadhya and sometimes also with sadhya bhava, what decision should I take? What conclusion should I make? I mean, this is the kind of an idea. No, I am just trying to explain the term. So, Svyabhichara, now you understood, that is Vyabhichari. Now it is also called Anaikantika. Anaikantika is indecisive. One way I cannot decide. Why? Because sometimes I fight together, sometimes I fight along with abhava. So, ekakotika nirnaya is not possible. And that is why not a good ground should give me a chance to decide one way. I should give judgment, no? Unable to decide means what? There is something wrong with the ground. So ground is faulty. That is why this is asadhetu. So Svyabhichara, anaikantika, these are all meaningful terms. Sadharana, asadharana. And the third one is anupasamhari. What is the example? Sarvam anityam prameyatvat. Sarvam anityam prameyatvat. So what is paksha? Sarva. What is the hetu? Prameyatva. What is sadhya? Anitya is it. So anityatva is sadhya. This hetu also is faulty hetu. Why? Now you see, here where are examples? Sapaksha, Vipaksha. Any example? Can you give me? Because everything is included here. It is Paksha. So in Paksha it is there. But Sapaksha, Vipaksha, how to demonstrate? So how I will know Vyapti? I cannot know the relationship unless you give me example. So here there are no examples. What is the difference from this and this? So there are examples here, but here are no example at all. So inconclusive. I cannot make any conclusion. Upasamhara, conclusion. Upasamhara means conclusion. Anupasamhari is inconclusive. I cannot make any conclusion. So these are the three: sadharana, asadharana, and anupasamhari is the hetu. So shabdatva, prameyatva, and there also prameyatva or vani, if you want to establish dhuma, like that. So this way, this is the idea of first variety of asadhetu. So it's good that I revised you again. In this, now you can see why we need so much time. Now with the same, now what I am trying is in the 10 days I want that the Moola idea, the idea of the Moola should be a bit, some picture, some broad picture of understanding of Moola should be there. Now you will be reading with a commentary. Then of a comment, so many questions he will be